701. I apologize.
701. Okay, got to be quiet.
Joe, unmute yourself and take the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Do we have any announcements? If not, I'd like to
Joe,
start.
I need to announce.
Go for it.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just want to make the quick announcement that dues are due. I will be sending out emails. They are due by the end of September. It is $66 for 6 months. It's a little bit more if you decide to pay through PayPal, but I will be sending out the email reminders at some point in the next couple of days. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and I will send the information out later in email. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I'd like to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Without further ado, I'd like to turn our meeting over to our fellow Toastmaster. Thank you.
Oh, I guess that's me. Hopefully you can all hear me. I first want to say thank you to our Zoom master and Lenny for setting this all up for Zoom, and also to Joe and Maggie for reading their emails and filling in their information for their speeches. It will help out immensely. Thank you. Now I want to introduce our inspirator. She is going to give us a little inspiration to start this meeting. Please, Tracy Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Today, as we sit in Toastmasters meeting, may we all practice honest introspection and keep ourselves pure in the sight of our fellow Toastmasters. May not only our actions, but our words, our thoughts, and our motives be examined, leading us to be better for our families, friends, and community. And finally, may what we hear and learn guide us today and lead us to a better future as we work on developing our best selves in the future. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tracy. I have a theme: inspiration now and into the future. I'll explain a little bit more of that later after we get into some of our role holders. Let's start off with a word master. Who's our word master for today? Word master, Martin Johnston. Marty, are you available? Not so much, eh?
It shows he's in the process of joining.
All right. Marty's probably at work or just getting out of work. He's always in a rush. But let's go to our master. I know he is available. I see him right on my screen. Stephen Smith. Steve.
Good morning. Yes, I am the master today, which means I will be listening for ahs, ums, so's, and any clever word you come up with that I think sounds like a filler word. And I will report back when you ask me to. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Is Marty in yet? No. All right. Let's go on to grammarian. Grammarian. I've got to pronounce that correctly. Darcy, tell us what you're going to do today. Darcy Colby.
Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and if we have any guests. My job this morning as grammarian is to report on both exceptional and poor uses of grammar. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. How about Marty? Marty, are you in yet? Well, let's move on. Did I hear Marty?
Good morning, Phil. Fellow Toastmasters, yes. Excuse me. The word of the day is contemplation, along with the theme of introspection now and into the future. contemplation is a synonym for introspection, and contemplation is a noun, is the action of looking thoughtfully at something for a long time. And on the internet, there was a good example, I'll use it in a sentence, of someone out on a Sunday cruise, and they're stopping, looking at all these different businesses and homes, and it's a busy day, and you don't have time for that. So the road is too busy for leisurely contemplation of scenery. If you use that contemplation in a sentence, I'll be recording uses of contemplation, contemplated, contemplate throughout the course of the meeting, and I'll report when called upon. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster Phil.
Marty, I've been contemplating on this topic all week long to discuss with you why I did this. But before we get to that, let's contemplate on a quote master. Carol Ann Halstead, you have a quote for us?
Yes, I do. The unexamined life is not worth living. That's Socrates. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. That's Carl Jung. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, Aristotle. And one more, the philosophy of the wisest man that ever existed is mainly derived from the act of introspection. That's William Godwin. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
You brought up several of my favorite people. Socrates, one of the great heathens of all times, and Aristotle. Aristotelian philosophy is one of my favorites to study. And then you go to Carl Jung, that great psychoanalyst of craziness. Thank you, Carol Ann. Let's move on to our jester. Do we have Mary Cavanero available for us for a jest, please?
I'm here, Phil.
Good.
The past and present tense of the future is to walk into a bar.
You got that from your father.
No, I got it from Google.
Oh. Very, very good. Thank you, Mary. Now, one of the biggest things we have to do in Toastmasters is to stay on time. Timing is so very, very important. We have to make sure that we are on time all the time to keep us prompt. Now, let's contemplate on who the timer is. I think that's Jill Roaring. I think I saw her earlier. Jill?
Yes, that would be me. As Phil said, timing is very important. So I will be keeping time of our speeches, table topics, and evaluations. Table topics is 1.5 to 2 minutes. Green, yellow, red at 2 minutes. Better close it up. Speeches are usually 5 to 7. I'm sure people will let me know if there is a difference. And let's see. Evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. So that's where we go.
Thank you very much. Before we move on, we have to have the most important job in the whole universe, the General Evaluator. Salute the General, Dave Licata.
Good morning, everyone. It is the duty, the job, the mission of the General Evaluator to evaluate the Toastmaster of the day and the evaluators. That's it. That's all it is. You watch the Toastmaster, you watch the evaluators. You don't repeat any of the speeches, and you don't care about the tone of the meeting. It's just two things. Thank you.
All right, David. Mr. General, yo saludo. Why did I come up with this topic? Introspection now into the future. First, it's because of the speeches and the meeting last week. People were talking about their experiences, life experiences, what they've done. That's what Toastmasters is all about. That's why they call it the icebreaker. We want to find out about you. Now, we have this new thing called pathways. I didn't like it at first. However, what it is, it reflects back contemplation, introspection of your life. Now, what do you do next? You go into the future. What are you going to do in the future? The future of your life is in your hands. And I am going to talk a little bit about planning on that. But before we get into any of that information, let's talk about table topics. I have a table topics person, and I want to make sure that I pronounce her name correctly. Yang Qi, is that correct?
Yang Qi.
Yang Qi?
Close, very close. Yeah.
Oh, I'm awful at English, let alone speaking somebody else's language.
Yeah, it's I know that my last name is hard to pronounce. It's very difficult. Hello, Mr. Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters. So I'm today's table topic master. If I can go to future, I would like to go to Mars. That's my dream. And today I have to do the contemplation to decide who is the first table topic person. Mike the cattle. Do you want to be the first table
Sure.
topic?
No problem, Yang. I will be
Oh,
more
okay.
than happy to be.
Okay.
What's the question? Is it just anything in?
Yes, then be the first one. Yes. Sure.
I'll
Thank
just go
you.
with it. Yep.
Oh,
Thank you, Yang. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters. This is a really reflective topic. I have to give Phil a lot of credit in this topic because I haven't spent much time contemplating the future. I think I'm not very good at it. I would love to be reflective and contemplation in the future. In the past, I think that my schedule just goes in seasons and waves, and it's also very hard to plan for the future. I've found it kind of difficult these last couple of years, and I know that a lot of the skills that I use in Toastmasters, whether it's planning, whether it's planning speeches, planning as the Toastmaster, it's very hard to look past the week or even a couple of days, whether it be work or other things going on in the world. If I could plan, if I could hope for something in the future, I'm not really sure. I think I would hope that maybe a lot of medical advancements would create a easier life for a lot of people in the future. I think it's very hard to predict when it comes to all these science fiction items that come out. It's hard to figure out the best thing about what you would want to cherry pick from different science fiction things, but Mars sounds like a good idea. I think it would be fun to do space travel. Maybe going to the moon, colonizing the moon would be very interesting. It's a very deep question, very deep theme this morning, and I will turn it back to our table topics master Yang. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dave, Mike. So who want to be second table topic? Kate, would
I
you
have a
be the
job.
second one?
I have a job, but I bet there are others who
Oh.
don't. Maybe Len or Mike
Oh,
Florio,
okay.
Joe
yeah.
Budnick. Who else is on?
Okay,
Maybe
Len, would you be the
Harold.
second one?
Certainly.
Okay. Thank you.
Start my own timer here. Madam Toastmaster, planning for the future, something we all put off. But if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Anything great that's been accomplished has been the result of planning on some level. What are my plans for the future? I don't know. Still sleeping at it. Like during a sleep process, we get some magical insight. No, it doesn't really happen that way. The future doesn't come at us all at once. It creeps up on us day to day. Just as the color in our hair fades, our skin gets more wrinkled. It's inevitable. So people try and fight it with tooth and nail and all kinds of pseudoscience, expensive products. But I think accepting where you are, I like the theme of introspection. You can't figure out where you're going and what your future holds until you really know who you are. And this is where I think a lot of people fail. They don't look inside themselves. They don't look to constantly be bettering themselves. They don't take an objective look at their flaws and try and round those out, smooth them down a bit. You should be looking inward at least as much as you look outward at other people. That's my philosophy. We'll see what it leads to. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Len. Gerard, would you be the third one?
Definitely, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you.
When it comes to contemplation, introspection, I have that in spades. I do a lot of that. I'm a big goal setter. I've been that all my life. Key things that Len said, you have to know yourself a little bit, your abilities and how to improve. I second that for sure. That's why I'm here at Toastmasters, to improve a little of this or a little of that when it comes to public speaking. For me, it's all about legacy. At this point in my life, what impact did I have on the world, on society? In the form of patients, help some of them. Form of students, they will impact many, many patients. Things that I have delivered to them. I do hear it from time to time at CE events, which I will be presenting on Thursday. I'll be doing a 2-hour speech there in Salvatore's. Impacting my grandkids, giving them a few pointers here or there on life, key advice at times, maybe giving them a leg up when they need it. Helping my profession. I do some leadership things, state and national. Want to have a bigger impact, accomplish something to help everyone in the state, and then all those patients that will help too. I do have a few goals left rolling around. Got to go to one more state, North Dakota, and I'll get them all. And just a few more countries, Spain and China, I'd like to go to. Antarctica was a long-term thing. I don't know if my wife really wants to go anymore. Be a cruise. We'll see. It's expensive. Prices have gone up. You may have noticed. So those goals are what I have, and the big thing is legacy. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Jared. Um, three of them had wonderful speeches. Now let's go back to Mr. Toastmasters.
Good job.
Thank you, Yang Apple. Now, so we can concentrate who was the best table topics, we need a timers report. Jill, did they qualify?
Yes, they all did. Len was at 143. Gerald and Mike both came in at 158. Good job, everybody.
Perfect. Now, see, who's my word? Right, who my word masters? Marty, tell us if they use the word template.
All three table topics contestant used the word contemplation or some form of the word contemplation. Mike, Len, Gerald. Thank you, Phil. Back to you.
Thank you. While you are contemplating and voting, they'll put up a voting list for you. I am going to tell you a little bit about that planning that they're talking about. The planning in the insurance and financial services industry is crucial. And I have had many workshops with people about planning. I'm going to give you one. There's some different planning strategies. The first one, and this man took an hour and a half describing to us this plan. I'm going to try and do it in about 30 seconds. What do you want to accomplish in 30 years? How about 20? About 10? 5, 3, 1. What you do is you write down what you want to accomplish over that period of time. You start and work backwards to today. Then you can work on what you're going to do tomorrow, the next day, the week, the month, the year, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30. Then there's the other person. Says, let's start at the beginning. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. That's what you do. You need to do one thing in common. Write it down. Write it down. Now there is plans, long-term versus short-term, day to day, week to week. Then we go to the long-term, year to year, 10 years, 20, 30 years. A few guidelines for you to work on. That's all. It's not magic. It's a matter of taking the time. You need a pencil or a pen. I have a pen here too. Pen, a piece of paper. See, you write all this stuff down. You write it down. Then you can write it down. Now, I have some books here that I've accumulated over the years and I've been procrastinating. I'm a great procrastinator. That's what interferes with all plans. Procrastination. My feeling is I want to continue on. I said I'm going to make it to 108. So I start with 30 years. What do I want to accomplish? 20, 10, 5, 3, 1. Bingo. It's not something you do over a minute or so. You have to take time. Some people say take 20 minutes, put a timer on, think about the 30s. 20 minutes, think about 20. 20 minutes, think about 10. But you need to also remember, you need to think about this introspectively of your past. Where do I really want to be in that time period of the future? Very, very interesting. Well, I think it's time to start with speeches. But before I talk with speeches, oh, goodness gracious. Where are our speakers? We have 3 of them. 3 good speakers today. The first one is Marshall. The second one is Maggie. Third one is Joe. Marshall had his fields filled out early. Maggie and Joe, they've read my email and they told them and they filled it in good. So now our evaluators will be able to tell us what they're going to be speaking about, the time, where they're getting this from, and we can look at the introspection of these people and where they're going in the future. Let's first talk to the evaluator, Kate Orr, evaluating Marshall's song. Kate, are you there?
I am here. Thank you, Mr. Phil, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. I'm glad I'm not speaking longer. I don't have much of a voice today. Phil, are you going to introduce the introduction and title that Marshall put in? Are you comfortable doing that, or you would like me to?
You can do it. You are the...
All right. I sure will. Thank you, Marshall, who is working out of the Visionary Communication Path. This is a level 3 project, developing communication. It's a 5 to 7 minutes, traditional length, Madam Timer. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing communication. The introduction he shared, and I encourage all of our members to do that to help us give an introduction to each speaker. The introduction. I will share 3 short stories about altitude sickness in Tibet. Nature gave me lessons to teach me we should revere it. The speech title, Reverence for Nature. Marshall Song, Reverence for Nature.
Thank you, Pat. Good morning, everyone. Have you ever been to some places with high altitude? How did you feel? I've left Tibet. The scenery was splendid, and I always had contemplation there. But the altitude sickness was terrible. Nature gave me unforgettable lessons. Now I realize how insignificant humans are in the face of nature. There are 3 short stories about altitude sickness, which tell us why we should revere nature. 11 years ago, I watched a movie about riding to Tibet. The next day, I decided to go to there and set off by bicycle. I believed there is no road longer than our feet and no mountain higher than our head. I rode to an altitude of 3,000 meters and didn't feel safe. I rode to 4,000 meters mountain and there is no problem. Standing on the 5,000 meters hill, I felt so good. Yeah, I thought I had defeated nature. I won. One night, I was staying in a hotel at an altitude of 4,500 meters. I saw the clouds beneath my feet like heaven. So we were so excited and smoking, drinking, singing, and dancing to celebrate it till 3 a.m. in the morning. The second day, I got altitude sickness. My lips were turning purple, and I had a fever and vomited. But I insisted on cycling and refused to take oxygen because I believe that humans are the masters of the world. We could overcome nature. The result was that I fainted and was taken back to a plain city by a Land Cruiser. And I didn't dare to go to Tibet for 11 years. This summer, I chose to take a plane to Lhasa, Tibet. During the first 8 days, I suffered from very severe altitude sickness. My blood oxygen level dropped to 62. It should be over 95. My forehead was so hot that could fry an egg. My eyes were so swollen that they could light up my room. My voice was so dry and it bled. I was in a state of confusion and kept asking myself, where am I? Who am I? But this time I was humble. When I felt unwell, I took oxygen. It made me feel better. After 8 days, I adapted the plateau. I could walk for a long way. I thought, I conquered nature again. So I had fun and drank beer with my friends till 4 a.m. The next day, I had vomiting and diarrhea. Yeah, nature gave me another lesson. You may think, oh, little Marshall, poor guy. But I watched the news. The story of an influencer was totally a tragedy. There was a 41-year-old influencer, had a happy family, and earned millions yuan every year. He drove a luxury RV to Tibet. He shared videos to show off, like, I am on the 5,000 meters and I don't have altitude sickness. Oh, how comfortable I am. I feel like I am in the heaven. I'm so excited to die. He also drank strong Chinese liquor every day. But one morning, people found he died. He died in the RV, in the luxury RV. With the advancement of technology, many people believe that humans are the kings of this world. We could destroy nature and our Earth 100 times with our nuclear weapons, and we can dig anywhere we want. But actually, nature could destroy human beings by the moving of its little finger. I was wondered why all the Tibetans are Buddhists and they pray every day, because they know humans are nothing in this earth. We must have reverence for nature. Thank you. Go back to Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Marshall. Take one moment. Contemplate what Marshall said. Write down a few thoughts to help him. Our second speaker, Maggie Craig, will be evaluated by none other than Beth Banks. Beth, could you read or get the information you have for Maggie's speech, please?
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I did get the information. I like your topic for today, Phil. Before I go on to telling you about Maggie, I will tell you that in my book club last night, one of the ladies told about a book series that she read and journaled and contemplated a lot, and it was called Q&A a Day. And it really forces you to contemplate where you are, what you're thinking of, and what your future is. So if anyone wants something like that, you are in this asked to journal for 120 days. A lot of us agreed that would be very challenging for us. My challenge this morning is to evaluate Maggie. She is speaking from the Presentation Mastery Path. Maggie attempts to tell you why she talks too much. I myself need to listen to this because sometimes I talk too much when I'm nervous. Her speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and the title is The This About That. Maggie Craig, The This About That.
After considerable contemplation, I decided I should share my thoughts. This is the this about that. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Have you ever had someone bring up a topic and before you knew it, you were off and running, sharing stories, advice, and hours of rabbit hole diving? My friends and family know what's coming when I take a breath and I say this tiny but powerful 6-word phrase. This is this about that. I don't even know when I first said it. Maybe it was at the dinner table, maybe it was in a meeting, but somebody mentioned something ordinary, like about a leaky faucet, and I started on about plumbing and water pressure, and the time I opened our basement door and a stairwell full of water flooded in like a tsunami. I'll save that story for another day. So that 6-word phrase became my launch pad. A spark of conversation lit up a whole web of connections in my mind. But here's the truth. This is the this about that. That's more than just a catchphrase. It's my way of saying, wait, I see something worth connecting here. That might be a tiny phrase, but it holds big meaning. And it's not just the this about that. It's the this about that. It's about the bridge in between this and that. Communication at its best is about building bridges. And that 6-word phrase is just me laying down planks as fast as I can so that we can climb over them and maybe meet in the middle of that bridge. And sometimes those bridges are solid, and sometimes they're a little bit wobbly. And sometimes they collapse halfway through, and we're both left wondering, what was I talking about again? That happens to me a lot these days. So we all have these little well-worn phrases, the kind our friends can finish before we even say them. But these small phrases, they carry big power because connection doesn't happen when we stay silent. It happens when we find ways to link our experiences and when we say, hey, that reminds me of something I've lived or read or wondered about. That's how conversations stop being small talk and start becoming real talk. For me, this is the this about that is a shorthand way of saying, your story stirred mine, and I want to share this connection with you. So the next time someone tells you a story, don't just smile and move on. Pause. Remember your own tiny phrase, the words you use to signal connection, and then share it. Build a bridge. Because those well-worn phrases, our 6 little word signatures, can turn acquaintances into friends, colleagues into collaborators, and a Zoom boom room full of Toastmasters into a community. Fellow Toastmasters, I challenge you. This week, when a story sparks your own, don't hold back. Speak your 6 words, whatever form they take. Speak your this is the this about that. Because sometimes the biggest connections, the true friendships, they can start from the smallest of phrases. Fellow Toastmasters, I encourage you to share. Thank you.
Let's now take one moment to contemplate what we just heard and write down some notes for Maggie to help her. Our third speaker is Joe Budnick, our president, current president, and he is going to be evaluated by Mike Florio. Mike volunteered. I did make the phone call to make sure he was going to be available to evaluate Joe Budnick. Mike.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and of course, Joe. Joe will be working from the presentation mastery option, option 2. Vocal variety, his speech, Mr. Timer will be 5 to 7 minutes. And the purpose of Joe's speech will be to practice using vocal variety and body language to enhance his speech. And I'm sure he's done this before, so this may be a review, but he'll learn and review the importance of vocal variety and body language. Again, always good to practice. Do you have the speech title, Mr. Toastmaster?
I do.
Mandated reporting, Joe Budnick. All yours, Joe.
Thank you. I think we can all agree upon the fact that children are society's most precious citizens. I think we can agree that every method should be used and put in place for their protection and well-being. So that is where the concept of mandated reporting comes in. So what exactly is a mandated reporter? We've heard the term before, we've heard the expression, but what exactly is it? Its definition is someone who is required by law to report someone who could be at risk for either abuse or maltreatment or neglect. It is put in place to address all forms of abuse or maltreatment and neglect. Not just for children, but there are laws that extend to the elderly, protecting the mentally or physically disabled individual or people who are mentally ill. Who are mandated reporters? Who carries this this badge? People who work in the educational system, in law enforcement, and the medical profession are all mandated reporters. This method was pioneered in 1962. Two doctors by the name of C. Henry Kemp and Brand Steele, both of them collaborated and reported a book and published a book titled The Battered Child Syndrome. This was to help doctors identify abuse and neglect and maltreatment, know its effects, and recognize the need to report this when they do feel that they have encountered it and seen it in some of their patients. Unfortunately, back then, child abuse, was seen as uncommon and not a regular issue, which is pretty scary. But back then in that era, they did not think that it was all that important. In 1974, the U.S. Congress passed what is known as the Child Abuse Prevention Treatment Act. This was to provide funds for child protective services and hotlines for people who are in good faith to report things that they feel are important if they feel that they have encountered someone or someones who are being abused or maltreated or subjected to neglect. These laws brought on gradual change that we do see nowadays. Now, I work as a teacher's aide. I have also worked as a substitute teacher. Plus, I have also worked for Child and Family Services. So throughout my career, I have been a mandated reporter. I am required by law to report if I feel that I am working with someone, a client or whoever, that I feel is being mistreated. You may ask me, did I ever make a report or ever did call? Because maybe I suspected someone of being abused. Well, no, at least not yet I haven't, but I almost did once. Once I almost made a call. It was several years ago. It was before I got a job full-time as a teacher's aide. I was working as a substitute teacher in Lockport schools. I was filling in for a teacher assistant in one of the elementary schools. I believe it was Charles Upson, but don't quote me. Now, I was working with two young children, a young boy and a young girl, and we were practicing reading skills. And the two were talking to me and telling me a little bit about their families and their home life. And the little boy happened to just offhandedly say, "My dad punches me." And I'm thinking, that's not good. And that's all he said. He didn't go into details. So we continued with our lesson, and this bothered me. And after much introspection, I finally looked at the young fellow and I said to him, "You say your dad punches you? Did you tell me that?" And the kid looks at me and he says, "Oh yeah, it's really funny when my dad gives me noogies. He makes me laugh." Okay. Well, that changes things. He explained what was going on. Thank God it really wasn't abuse. But had he just told me that, just happened to make that comment without explaining, I would have been mandated by law to report that, even though his father really wasn't being abusive. But by making that comment and statement, I had reasonable cause to suspect. So even if the result, which hopefully, God willing, would be unfounded, if we even suspect that someone is being mistreated or abused, we are mandated by law to report it, which I think is a wonderful thing. There are criticisms to this method. Some people say that people would be falsely accused of things, or like a child would be removed from a home when they really shouldn't have been. And I suppose these are valid concerns. But at the same time, let's always be better safe than sorry. So I would encourage everyone, even if you don't work in education, maybe not law enforcement or the medical field, if you see someone, I don't care who they are, whether it be a child, someone elderly, anyone who is at risk, if you even suspect that someone is not being treated the way they should or being subjected to something that they shouldn't, I encourage you, please don't be afraid. Say something to someone, even if you're wrong, which God willing, maybe you are. But still, that could make all the difference in the world for someone. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Let's take a moment now to contemplate Joe's speech and write a few notes to encourage him. I have a few planning tools that I wanted to share with you before we get to our evaluators, giving them a little time to contemplate their evaluation of their speakers. This one is my future planning workbook. I acquired this, it's about 10 pages, and it gives you a handbook on how to plan your future. If anybody wants one, let me know. We'll figure out how to get it to you. It's really a good, helpful book. It takes you step by step by step right through the whole planning process. I'm going to use it again starting now and working it into the future. Another one that I have is this little thing called Make It Happen book. It has on here plan a schedule, to-do list, notes and doodles, meal plan for tomorrow. All these little things. It's a daily planner. It works out. How about that one? Now, this is really a good one that I got, because anybody with any kind of visual problems can read it. It's one page. One page. Things to do today, 1 through 12. I found it to be really good. You look at it, and if you keep it in front of you, you'll get it done. You will get it done. Now, over the years, again, I started in Toastmasters in 1982. And I started in the financial business. It was about a month after I started in Toastmasters from somebody I met. And I've been in it ever since, good or bad or indifferent. So I have a whole stack in this booklet of things that I've got to do. But I put them in a book, this big booklet, and stuffed it away in my briefcase so that I could procrastinate and not to get done. But now I decided, after last week's speeches and this topic that I chose for today, I chose to pick it back up. This one. Wow, this one's a biggie. And it shows, it has everything in it. The same thing. Tackle box coming up. Top news. Little places to write notes. Day to day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Everything is right there. It can be right in front of you. But if you procrastinate, as I do, it does you absolutely no good sitting in your briefcase. Now, let me see. I have to redo these because I have to get back to my schedule. Here, let us put these back. Got that back, and we're going to move on to the evaluators. Let us start in our evaluations. We have Kate Orr, who is evaluating Marshall Sound. Are you ready, Kate?
I am ready. Thank you, Marshall, especially. You bring so much to this club. You are such a special member, zooming in from late at night, far away, worth getting up for, worth staying up for. Thank you so much, Marshall. You gave us even stronger clarity than usual. You're improving constantly. Your English pronunciation today was even clearer because of your slower pace, in my opinion. You had excellent vocal variety from softer tone to very excited drama. Your voice and elaborate gestures today entertained us. The drama of something kind of obviously deadly based on how you got into your message was very impressive. You delved even deeper into contemplation, our topic and word for today, into reverence and the reverence for nature. It was a fantastic title that hooked us in. I do have two suggestions that you may want to work on. When you mentioned how that influencer died, say it even louder and clearer or slower and softer. Either way, for more impact. I don't think everyone heard that that's what happened to him. And that was an kind of a peak in your message. Speaking of peaks, an excellent phrase I had not heard or heard exactly. There is no mountain higher than what is in our own head. That was excellent. The second suggestion I have is to align with your project a bit better. I am the Vice President of Education, so I have to advise on you. Now, I didn't introduce the entire project because I realized you didn't do this project, which was develop a communication plan. And so I do myself also occasionally massage a speech to fit a project. But if I had said the actual project, I thought it might throw you off or throw our members off. To develop a communication plan and delve into deeper how you're going to do that plan. So you did more communication, maybe more of a storytelling. It's just an opinion and a suggestion. You really can massage a speech into any project you wish. To challenge yourself, Marshall, please enter contests, Toastmaster contests, at least at one club, if not more, in the fall and or the winter. Thank you, Marshall.
Evaluating Maggie Craig will be Beth Banks. Beth, are you ready?
I believe I am ready. I was always asked that when I was teaching, are you ready? And I always said, nope, but it starts anyway. So I guess we'll go with that. It starts anyway. Maggie, the This About That. It was very interesting title. I like getting into those kind of obscure things that help us. Your gestures were great, of course. I love the vocabulary you used, particularly in the beginning of your speech. You had something that not all of us do as well. You had good spacing from the camera. It wasn't too far back. It wasn't right in our faces. It was really a good space. One of the things you improved at this time was looking at the camera, which is really hard on Zoom. I understand. I don't always do that. I had to learn, We're always improving on that. One of the ways I'd like to challenge you is, and I can say this from my own personal experience and how people have talked to me. Remember that some people, quite frankly, they don't want to hear your story. As basically a reverse of what you said, acquaintances become friends. We discussed in my book club last night that we have to be able to discern who should remain our acquaintances and who do we let in to be friends. So I encourage you, be discerning and contemplate, who do you share your great stories with? Because they are very interesting stories and they let us in to you. Good luck. You will continue to improve, Maggie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beth. Our third evaluator evaluating Joe Budnick is Mike Phil. Mike, run.
You all right there, Phil?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Joe. Good morning. Joe had a specific goal today, and that was to use vocal variety. And he had a choice inside of this to be persuasive, humorous, or informational. And Joe obviously chose informational. And that may have been the more difficult, I think, of the three, because you're trying to get out information to people and still have some vocal variety. But Joe knew the topic very well. He teaches children, and what's more important than making sure that our children are safe? Joe at times read, and that kind of threw him off a little bit in the beginning, because he had the information that he had to share with us, and he wanted to make sure that he was accurate with what he was telling everyone. And there's a listing here that I went through that came along with the project description that I wanted to go through with, and it showed really some of the things that Joe did well and some of the things that I think he can improve on. His projection was great. Everybody understood him. Joe has no problem there getting his point across to everyone. At times he gets a little flat and maybe monotone. I think when in the beginning there, again, when he's trying to read, and when it came to talking about the father and son, and maybe people's misunderstanding of really what was going on and how difficult it is to weed through that to make sure that you're making the right call before you fill out one of these mandated forms. That's when Joe kind of shined, really. He came in and he talked about the noogie, and he talked about the things that and he was more animated there, and he was more animated with both his voice and with his movement, and you could tell. And when you're in this setting, it's very difficult to be that way. I thought his pitch was excellent. His voice was open and clear. He was definitely engaging with everyone. Articulation, he was very clear. He didn't mumble. Everything came across. Effective with his pauses. He had a few pauses there where he had to think about what he was trying to say, but I thought he did very well. His time and rate were perfect. His vocal variety, he didn't at times convey a lot of emotion, but I think when it came to the point when he was talking about something again with the father and son, I thought he did a great job there. He's coming along very well, and I think that Joe will be a great president for us, Mr. Toastmaster. You are on mute.
I am unmoved because I forget that all the time. Excuse me, excuse my allergies. I had to take a quick swig of water. Every time I talk too much, I start to nasal up and start coughing. Not fun. But let's go to the timer. Madam Timer, how did our evaluators do?
Well, I'll do the evaluators, but you never did the speakers.
Oh, I thought I did. I guess I did. Oh, well.
No. Okay, evaluators. Kate was 249, Beth was 218, and Mike was 315 in the buffer zone. So they all qualified. As far as the speakers, Marshall was 706, so he was in the buffer zone just fine. Maggie was 507, and Joe was 607. So there you have it.
All right. Now I have been corrected. Now we can, in fact, vote.
Joe, that's a great, I mean, Phil, that's a great picture behind you of Alcott.
Thank you.
I had to say that.
I remember lifeguarding there. It
I
was,
remember the polar bear there, going there.
and then the Polar Bear Club, when that started, I never went in, don't want to. When I went in first time in the spring, that was cold enough for me. I did enjoy going to see the polar bears. And the first ones, they were a little bit raucous. And trouble was easy to have.
4 times I went in.
Crazy, little quick story. Crazy Eddie was the first one in. They were sitting in Mike's Black Stallion. Too much alcohol the night before. Sunday morning, all the people that were talking there were, I would have to say, too much alcohol involved. And they decided, they were sitting at the bar. Crazy Eddie, who worked at Simon's, we called him Crazy Eddie for various reasons. He was in his coat and his tie and his trench coat. He worked at Simon's in the office. On weekends, he liked to party. He was there Sunday morning, and they were discussing going in, drinking more alcohol. All of a sudden, Eddie disappeared. The 6-pack was still there, and his beer was not finished. What happened? Where's Eddie? He walked in, he says, "You guys keep talking about it. Why don't you go do it?" He was soaking wet. He had just jumped in. They all had to do it. Hence the start of the infamous Alcott Beach Polar Bear Club. Just a little aside. Introspection on that one. Let's now go to our job holders. I have to do this thingy here. Let's start off with our master. Where's our master?
Right here.
All right. Have at it, master.
Have at it. You're making me work. I listened carefully all meeting, and I didn't catch much of anything. I was really amazed, pleased, but amazed. In the whole meeting, I caught one and a couple of ahs, and I'm not going to put the finger on anybody. I sat through the speeches, table topics where I thought certainly it's a great place to screw up while you're trying to think of what you're going to say. Nothing. So you did a great job today. But given your theme, I want to leave you with this thought. There's an epic film from Ed Wood called Plan 9 from Outer Space. And in the beginning of that film, they have, as a way of introduction, the great Griswold, who probably many of you have never heard of, who was a noted psychic at the time, was talking about the events of the future, what they were going to tell you. And he said, "I know you're all interested in the future because that is where you will spend the rest of your life." Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. The one person I forgot to introduce in the beginning was Sylvia, the quote, our quiz master. We'll get to her. She'll have her opportunity. Grammarian, Darcy, how did we do? I know I can butcher the English, Queen's English.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As I contemplate giving my grammarian report, I just want to remind everyone about the Toastmasters Club mission. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater confidence and personal growth. And I give these grammarian remarks in that vein. I always wonder how, who we come across with these suggestions, and hope nobody's offended. And thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. You are the master of vocal variety. I enjoy your way of speaking and your use of pauses and your inflection and your gestures and your eyeballs and all that good stuff. Some great phrases I heard today. Fail to plan to fail. Round out your flaws and smooth them out a bit. I have that in spades. I love that one. Write it down. And Phil, do you get some of your phrases from Hogan's Heroes? Very interesting. Very interesting. A couple of bad things that I heard. Not bad, but maybe poor choices. And maybe this is more of a cultural language thing, not sure. Go to future. I would have put a the in there. Go to the future. I would go to Mars. Another suggestion, keep in the same tense. For example, I would love to be reflective and contemplation. One's in the past tense, one's in the present tense. What else have I got here? Oh, I loved we're lit up a web of connections in my mind, and we're laying down the planks fast as I can to meet in the middle of the bridge. Very nice visual. And then let's see, the last one. Are you ready? And I can definitely relate to this. Are you ready? No, as a former teacher. Are you ready? No, but it starts anyway. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see. What do we move at? Oh, the one I forgot. I'm so sorry, Sylvia. Are you there? Would you like to quiz these people?
I am ready. I've been ready. I was here through the whole thing, even though I'm at work. I did write down a few things that I would like to ask because, we have to have our listening skills fine-tuned a bit. That's part of communication, you told us. So the first question is, and everybody could unmute themselves, please. Why this topic? Why did Phil pick this topic?
Because of the meeting last week, and we're talking about
future. He's into planning, but we need to plan. Mike had said in table topics, the thing that he would like to see in the future is anyone?
Better healthcare, maybe?
Advanced health plans and going to Mars, taking our space travel. Len, what is Len? Is Len a planner or not?
Nope, he shoots from the hip there, Len.
He does it well with his speeches.
Len tries hard to plan.
Gerald in table topics, he talked about what he is and what state does he want, he needs to go to. Then he'll have
North Dakota.
And he's a goal setter. The last thing, let's see, mandated reporting. When did that start? That caught my ears really because I am a mandated reporter too. So
1974.
So what? Well,
1974. 1974.
74 went into, but they started looking into this in what year?
1962.
The good year. That's
Ooh.
right. The
Good year that was.
That
Good
was a
year.
good year. And I will leave you with that.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Now, one more assignment we have is it's called the word of the day. Maddie Johnston, how about giving us a report on that word?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day, Phil. Phil used the word contemplate 4 times and the word contemplating 2 times. And throughout the course of the meeting, other than table topics, I heard the word used by Marshall when he was speaking. His evaluator, Kate, used the word. Maggie used the word. Her evaluator, Beth, used the word contemplating. Joe used the word, and his evaluator, Mike Florio, used the word contemplate. And if I missed anyone, if they used it, they used it. So contemplate your planning, as Phil mentioned, and I hope you have great success with it. Back to you, Phil, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Marty. It was a fun meeting to do. 3 great speakers, 3 good table topics, and 3 excellent evaluators. Now, I will just mention the rewards of who won. Where do I have that?
You might want to include your buddy in here.
Oh, no, not the most important person in the world.
Just saying.
Made a faux pas. I'm going to get it. Dave, be gentle.
Oh, gee. All righty then. Phil, I want to salute you on the theme, and I want to salute you on the way you sold the theme, because many of us in AM Lockport, we use the idea that we want you to do this, but I will admit I have trouble with it as well, which is a way to grease that skid and make it move down the line. So it's a good way to sell it, and you certainly did that. Now, I was contemplating the shirt, and normally I make quick judgments about whether the shirt is right or wrong. But boy, that shirt, that was a curveball, because the little squares were dancing on my screen. I don't know, I can't speak for the rest of the group. But then again, it did force you to pay attention, so we want to give you credit for that. I can't believe you forgot Sylvia, but then you outdid that by forgetting me. But we don't want to chase that too hard. Also, I want to give you credit for chasing Marty, looking for the word of the day. In my opinion, the word of the day should come first so everybody can use it right away. And I also think it should be the very, very last thing we check on during the course of the reports. Now, Katie Banks gave us Kate's master class this morning on how to do an evaluation. And she had strong praise for Marshall, and the opposite of that is faint praise. So it was a wonderful demonstration of how strong praise is so important, and faint praise is lame. So we can learn this morning from Miss Kate. And she gave excellent advice on how he should use more vocal variety when he was talking about the demise of the influence. Oh, and did I mention that Kate's a cheerleader? And cheerleaders are leaders, because when you praise somebody, they're more prone to remember the advice and do it better next time. Beth Banks, her mom, excellent preparation. She demonstrated her own involvement with Maggie's topic. And like the true academician, Beth did her homework. Now, in my opinion, she could have done a better job just giving Maggie more credit for Maggie's call to action. And she also gave good advice about the camera. Mike Florio is a natural evaluator. And he soft pedals it, and once again, soft pedal it. He sells the advice, and he does a very nice job of it. Now, what we have to do when we are evaluating our dear friend Joe and our president, we just have to remind him that he has to get a little bit more light in the front of his face, because he's better than the last time, but he's not as good as he could be with lighting up the front for the Zoom. Oh, by the way, we're going to be in person. I'm so excited. But he gave Joe a complete list of what was great and what could be improved. And when this goes out on YouTube, whoever gets to watch it is going to find out how well this club evaluates. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Russell.
Thank you, David. You're very kind. Now, who else did I forget? My memory sometimes lapses on me.
We could do a toast. We could do a toast.
Oh, a toast.
Oh.
Toast ready? I have a toast to the past, the present, and the future. Let it all be good. Hear, hear. Now, winners. Table topics. Dr. Gerald Stevens. Evaluator. Kate Orr. And our best speaker for today, Marshall Song. Marshall. Great job by everyone. Thank you for supporting me and doing all of your own work and research and getting back to me and filling out all the forms. I really appreciate that. It makes life so much easier for the Toastmaster. I'm going to turn it over now. I believe Kate Orr, the Vice President of Education, had some announcements at the end of the meeting. And let her have it. And she can then turn it back over to the closer, which is our president. And you're on, Kate. Thank you much.
Excellent. I will hand it over to Joe as president to close out our meeting momentarily. I am your Toastmaster next week, and we are back to hybrid meetings. I can't wait to see some of you in person. Our theme for next week will be International Conference Recap. Our TI conference was last week, and 3 of us in this Zoom room were there. David Jones and Maggie and I were in Philadelphia. And we on Saturday saw the international champion contest, and he was crowned out of Amsterdam this year. We may be able to show some videos on recap next week. Maybe not. We'll see if that works. However, we do have access for 2 months to all the video recordings of all of the workshops. There were so many, we could not attend them all. They were often concurrent. I didn't leave the hotel. I think some of us didn't ever leave the hotel because there was so much exciting opportunities, so many opportunities. I want to, let me move back to, okay. All right. Some save the dates, and I alluded to this in my evaluation of Marshall. For those of you who remember, we used to not just have one contest every year in the winter, but also in the fall. We are resuming that this year. I'd love for you to be prepared September 25th. The regular schedule that we already have for September 25th is going to get bumped to October 9th. We already had an officers meeting on Tuesday night and assessed this. So that will shift. And on September 25th, Thursday, the contest will be Tall Tales. We haven't seen that one in a while, and we have some excellent Tall Tales competitors in this club. And guess what? 2 have already signed up. Rookie Marshall just told me Rookie Marshall is in. He can't even move on to the next level in person, but he's going to compete at the club level because that's what challenges us. And as Darcy, our new sergeant at arms, said, as she shared our mission, we are here for suggestions. We are here to grow. We are here to be introspective and challenge ourselves. Maggie, new member, is in. She already has been working on this speech. So, folks, save the date, September 25th. Eric is our area director, and that next level has already been decided. I dropped in the chat the calendar for District 65 so you can plan ahead for the dates. October 11th will be the area contest combined with 11 and 12 in the Clarence Library. November 1st or 8th, still to be decided, the division level. But then November 22nd, the Saturday before Thanksgiving at Roberts Wesleyan, will be the contest for the district, which is super exciting to see that we're getting it back. And Eric, again, is our area director. John O'Hare is our division director. Jillian Sheldon, our amazing District 65 director. And guess what, folks? We're in Region 5. I've been in Toastmasters for 18 years, and I vaguely knew that, but we're in Region 5, which stretches from Maine to Quebec to Michigan. And our new our new Region 5 international director is Andrew Horbury out of Toronto. And we may even get a Zoom visit from him someday. And
So we have to do our speeches in French, 2 languages?
We could. That's a whole topic that was brought up at the business meetings and many meetings over we were at. So super exciting. Lots of languages, lots of technology, lots of youth involvement. It fired me up. Let me talk about introspection more next week. I can't wait to talk to you all. Our speakers next week are Darcy, Maggie again, if she chooses, unless she backs out, because she did speak today, but she is challenging herself to get these projects done. Our third speaker is Les, and our alternate is Phil. The week after, I know we're getting down to the wire, it's 8:28, but this is important. The week after is September 11th, and David Jones will be in town for our Celtic Festival also, and as our Toastmaster of the day in person. September 11th, if you can come in person, that would be great. Our speakers that day are lined up as Tracy, Phil, Margot, and alternate Steve. That's enough for right now. I can't wait to see many of you in person and the rest on Zoom next week. Back to the Lockport YMCA. Back to you now, Joe, to close out our meeting. Mr. President.
Thank you. Interesting topic today. Being introspective. It reminds me of that oldie song. I think the artist is Yeager and Evans. It's an oldie. It's called In the Year 2525.
Painful.
Catchy tune, but scary what that song implies. Is technology gonna help us or harm us? Something to think about. But do we have any announcements at all? Okay. Everyone, please have a good day. A great meeting, and I'll see you hopefully all next week.